You get close. Hey, you've tuned in to Cisco Unplugged.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 7th episode of Cisco Unplugged. My name is Dan Klamert, and I lead the Wireless Center of Excellence here at Cisco. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Wi-Fi 6E Advanced Visibility with Cisco DNA Center. And we are lucky to be joined by a couple of great speakers today. We have Mr. Benny Chong coming to us from the Big Apple. Welcome, Benny, to the show. How are you?
Thanks, Ned. Good.
Thanks. And we have Zach Georgiev coming to us from sunny Clearwater, Florida. How are you, Zach? Welcome.
Doing well. Thanks, Ben. Looking forward to it.
All right, thanks. But first, before we get started, just a quick bit of housekeeping items. If you have any questions, please use the Slido panel if you joined via the WebEx client. That's the panel on the right side of your screen. And if you're joining us live via YouTube, you can use click on the Slido URL at the bottom. There's a passcode there as well below the video on the YouTube page. So please don't hesitate to ask any questions. We have a number of TSAs or architects standing by to answer those questions online, and also, time permitting, if we have any, we can maybe answer some live during the show. So as usual, just a reminder, this session is being recorded and will be available on our Unplugged YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com/@getunplugged. So very important, please subscribe there. Go out there, click subscribe. You'll be notified when we do go live with new content. So that's it for the housekeeping items and the reminders. I look forward to today's episode. So now on with the show. Benny, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Good morning, everybody. So there's always two parts to every story. And today, what we're going to do is walk through really briefly what DNA Center is, just in case you've been living under a rock. Lucky you. And also, Zach will then walk us through the perspective of what the wireless infrastructure looks like, some tools and applets there inside of DNA Center, giving you better insight. And then also from the client perspective. I'll then talk about some tools that are available in DNA Center to give you visualization into something you can't touch or feel. And then I'll close with some network insights on some reports that will give you, I think, some very good information. So with that, Zach, I'll pass it to you to kick us off.
Thanks, Benny. Appreciate it. Hi, everyone. So Cisco DNA Center is the centralized management and really the command center of the entire network. It consists of these 4 main pillars. And without going into detail, let me give you a quick example of how we can benefit of each pillar. Starting with AI Ops, which provides visibility and insight into our network performance for optimal user experience by keeping our optimal health for our infrastructure and application. Network operation teams can benefit from anything starting really with day 0 when we onboard the devices into the network, to upgrading them on a regular basis and performing incremental configuration changes. Not just that, but all the tasks that I just mentioned can be further automated for ease of maintenance of the network. Security operations, SecOps, simplifies zero trust security for the workplace with multi-level policy-based segmentation. And last but not least, the programmability of our network, or DevOps, with its intent-based APIs, webhook notification, and streamlined ecosystem integration with other automation platforms such as Ansible. It makes a variety of DevOps tasks easier and faster to execute. And that is really Cisco DNA Center in a nutshell.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. So those are the 4 main pillars. But since we only have 30 minutes in this session, well, we're going to focus in on AI Ops, and in particular, the assurance capabilities of DNA Center. With that, go ahead, Zach, dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll stay focused, as Benny said, on AI Ops, also known as assurance. So I'm going to go into a pre-recorded demo here to show you how we can leverage DNA Center to check on our progress for implementing Wi-Fi 6, how our infrastructure and clients are doing there. So we're going to go to assurance and Wi-Fi 6. And there's a lot of good information here that we'll take it in pieces. And first, we're going to start with concentrating on our network readiness dashboard, which will provide visibility into what our access points are capable of and how are they configured. So let me go into view details so we can double click. And in this pie chart, just by hovering over different colors, for example, with the dark purple, I can see that 9 of my APs are Wi-Fi 6E capable. I can also see that 10 of my APs are Wi-Fi 6 capable. And I even have some older APs that are grouped together as a non-Wi-Fi 6. Those are older APs. You see AP count of 3. Those can be 11N or 11AC APs. It can be a 3700, 3800, 2700, anything of that nature. Everything's selectable. So just by clicking on it, I can see the first one is the 2702. But back focus on the Wi-Fi 6. The outer band here represents how my Wi-Fi 6 EAPs are performing. And I can see, actually, I'm going to get out of here so we can see it in the central view, because DNA Center is attempting to grab my attention. It's telling me that 100% of my Wi-Fi 6E capable APs are actually enabled and configured successfully for Wi-Fi 6E, or 9 out of 9. And this is exactly what we want to see, right? We want it to be configured properly. That was with a focus on Wi-Fi 6E. What if I wanted to check on Wi-Fi 6? Then I'll just change the focus to Wi-Fi 6. Now, the pie chart itself didn't change, right? We didn't change the capability of our APs and what they're capable of doing. So the inside circle there will stay the same. If I hover over, you'll see that still the AP count of 9 for Wi-Fi 6E APs and 10 for Wi-Fi 6 and so forth and so on. But what did change is the actual outside band there, the light purple. Now the focus is on Wi-Fi 6. And I can see again that 10 out of 10 APs that are Wi-Fi 6 capable are actually enabled for Wi-Fi 6, also known as 100% of my APs. Okay, what if I don't have enough time to examine this data in detail, just like we did over the last couple of minutes? I can use the summarization at the top. You can see that 41% of my APs are Wi-Fi 6E ready, and 86% of my APs are Wi-Fi 6 ready. And that comes in a form of an insight. Okay, that was from the infrastructure standpoint or the access point. How about the clients? We can take a look at what our clients are capable of, and that's with the client distribution by capability dashboard. I don't even have to go to view details. We can just look at it from here. But you see the breakdown again with the dark purple. We can see that I have 4 clients that are Wi-Fi 6E capable. I have 5 clients that are Wi-Fi 6 capable, and I have a couple of older clients that are 11AC, also known as Wi-Fi 5, right? Now, if I wanted to, the outside band there, it represents focus on the Wi-Fi 6E, and it will tell me how my Wi-Fi 6E clients are doing, right? So it will tell me that 3 out of my 4 clients that are 6E capable are connected to a 6E network, and 1 it is not. So if I wanted to focus on troubleshooting and figure out why this one client is not connected, I can focus obviously on that one and not worry about the other 3 that are already connected. And actually telling me 75% are on it. All right, so let's go to view details and see if we can find some additional information about that one client that it's Wi-Fi 6E capable but not connected to a Wi-Fi 6E network. By clicking on it, it will filter and it will show me that one device. Now I know that I'm dealing with a Samsung Galaxy tablet S8. And I can see that it's on the 5 gigahertz band, which will explain why it's not a Wi-Fi 6E association, as we know that's on the 6 gigahertz. But I see that it's 6E capable, so we can continue to troubleshoot. Oh, wait a second. It's a dead giveaway by the AP name there. It's a 9130 access point, and that's a Wi-Fi 6 AP, which explains why this client is on a Wi-Fi 6 associated 6E. Now, similarly to what we did with the infrastructure, I can change the focus to Wi-Fi 6. Again, the pie chart is not going to change because we're not changing the client capability itself. But what will change is the outer band there, which is the light purple now. It's focused on Wi-Fi 6 clients. And again, DNA Center is grabbing my attention, telling me 100% of my Wi-Fi 6 clients are associated to a Wi-Fi 6 network, or 5 out of 5, right? Okay, what we're looking at is the latest information, which means the last 5 minutes. What if I wanted to look at a larger time graph or time range? I can go in details and trend it. And by default, it will show me the last 24 hours. I can change that, but it will show me a breakdown of my client capability over time. And I can just hover over this graph and it will show me how it fluctuates throughout the day. How many are Wi-Fi 6E capable, how many are Wi-Fi 6 capable, and so forth with 11AC and even some of the older clients. Again, if I don't have enough time to examine this dashlets in detail, I can use the summarization in a form of insights at the top. And I can see that 31% of my clients are Wi-Fi 6E capable. I can also see that 69% of my clients are Wi-Fi 6 capable. Not just that, but also the insight, if you notice there on the bottom, is give me a recommendation. It may be a good idea to upgrade some of those older 11AC APs that we looked at in the infrastructure readiness. And it's telling me you might want to upgrade it to something like Catalyst 9100, which support Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah, Zach, I think this is good information because I've had customers kind of on the fence of whether they should look at upgrading, spending the money to upgrade their infrastructure, and they're waiting to see what kind of client devices are coming into their environment. So yeah, this is good info. Just curious, how do I know, or how does DNA Center know what type of clients and what their capabilities are when they come onto the network?
Yeah, great question, Benny. The way we have that information is that clients will advertise their capabilities in their management frames, in particular the probe requests that they send to the access points. They will advertise their capabilities such as supported data rates, supported channels and bands, and even their protocol. So that data is going to be provided through the AP and the controller to DNA Center for further analysis. And to your point, actually, we can use even our older APs, such as Wi-Fi 6, to find out what our clients' capabilities are directly into our network. Great question.
Great, thanks, Zach.
Problem. Okay, so that was where the focus on the client capabilities, but what if I wanted to go and see a real-time distribution of my clients and how they are between the different bands? For that, I'm going to go to Assurance, Wireless Client Health, and here we can see a ton of useful data, but what I wanted to focus on is the client count per band dashlet on the bottom left here. And I can quickly and easily see what my clients are connected on the 5 gigahertz. For example, I have 9 clients that are on 5 gigahertz. I do have 4 clients that are on a 6 gigahertz, and I even have a client that is old school and hanging on to the 2.4. If I wanted to find more information about a particular group of clients, I can click on View Details. And as you already know, anything here is selectable. So I'm going to click on the red chart there, the red pie chart. And this will filter all my 6 gigahertz clients at the moment that are connected. And if I scroll down here, I can see the clients. The one at the top is currently connecting. That's why it's still getting data. But the 3 on the bottom are fully onboarded. I can see that they have a client health score of 10, which is great. And furthermore, I can also see that it's API, they were on the 6 gigahertz there. Okay, what else can I do here is if I continue on, I can actually similarly trend it to where we saw it before instead of looking at the last 5 minutes. And I can see how the breakdown is among clients, right? So by far, I can see the most popular band is the 5 gigahertz indicated with a dark purple. By hovering over, I can see that they fluctuate anywhere from 8 to 14. And then with the lighter blue there, I can see the 6 gigahertz clients, which, as you saw, they go between 2 and 4. And that one client that comes on and off the network, that it's 2.4 gigahertz as well. Now that one may be, it can be something that it's roaming between 2.4 and 5. We don't know with the information that we currently have. Okay, so that was with the client distribution per band, but what if I wanted to find, this is for all the clients, right? What if I wanted to find more information about a particular client? In that case, I'll scroll down and I see the list of all the clients in here, and you see that same 3 that we were looking at that are 6 gigahertz, right? And I can see them in there. I can directly go and click on one of the identifiers and it will take me to the user 360, or alternatively, I can use the magnifying glass and type Steve, and it will start getting all the users with that, starting with that username. And I'll go to Steve Jobs and user 360 to see particular details about the device that Steve is using, which seems like it's an Apple device here running iOS. By hovering over the time graph at the top, I can find details, quick and easy details and metrics, as well as key performance indicator. For example, I can find out that this client is on the 6 gigahertz band using Wi-Fi 6E, channel 21, 20 megahertz, but I also know what access point it's connected to. And I can even go and click on that AP, and it will bring me to what we call the AP 360 with the focus on the access point and continue to troubleshoot from that point on. What else I can see here is some of the very important key performance indicators, such as signal strength and signal to noise ratio. We see that those are really good, which tells me that the client is closer to the AP, having such a great signal strength. And because that signal strength, those KPIs are so high, we're going to also assign the highest client health score of 10, right? So that's a quick and easy way to get pieces of information for that particular client from the top. But if I wanted to find even more details, I'll scroll all the way down, and there is a ton of useful data for troubleshooting here, such as the event viewer that we're looking at now. But I want to focus your attention on the bottom where we can see a lot more of the device detailed information. Some of the data will be repetitive. So we know that it's on the 6 gigahertz and it's an Apple device using 20 megahertz channel. But now I can see also spatial streams, right? I see one spatial stream there. Maybe I can come and troubleshoot a low data rate problem, for example. We're supposed to use 2, right? If that was the case. How about the RF trending overall? Like you saw at the top, we looked at the key performance indicator of signal strength and signal to noise ratio, but that's slicing time. It's a 5-minute slot we're looking at here. I can see how it actually performed over the last 24 hours. And what I like the most about this 2 graph, the one on the left is the signal strength, the one on the right is signal to noise ratio. They're correlated. So by hovering over the signal strength, I can actually see what's the signal noise ratio in exactly the same time and isolate some common RF problems in there, such as maybe low signal strength, right? And the last portion I want to show you here is the iOS Analytics tab. This is direct product from the partnership between Apple and Cisco that's been going on for quite some time. And this is how the client sees the network. Until this point, we're seeing how the network sees the clients. And this is how the client sees the network. We see that it can hear one AP at neg 48. If there was other APs in the vicinity, it will list those as well and how well it can hear them as far as signal strength. On the right, we're looking at the client disassociation details, or why the client dropped off the network. We see some 802.1x failures. Maybe it was wrong credentials. We can also see that there's some Wi-Fi that was temporarily disabled. Somebody probably turned off the Wi-Fi on the phone itself. And that's really all I wanted to show you on the client 360 here.
Yeah, so Zach, quick question for you.
Yeah.
So in reality, this is great to maybe look at what a client device is doing right this within the last couple of minutes. But in reality, most of the network engineers, by the time they pick up a trouble ticket from an unhappy user, it's going to be a couple of hours.
Yep.
And in worst case, probably a day later. So how am I going to even go back in time and troubleshoot a situation like that?
Yeah, that's a good point, Benny. You're bringing a very good real-time use case. So you see that by default in the top left, I have the 24 hours selected. I can change the time range to whatever I like. I can change it to 3 hours and apply it, and that will filter my KPIs and it will show me how it is over the last 3 hours. I can even change it to 7 days and even travel back in time further, more than 7 days if I wanted to. And that will go ahead and actually filter everything that I have for this client for that time frame. I can even further focus by dragging those blue arms on the right and the left to a specific time range. Let's say that, to your example, the help desk ticket was open 2 days ago at 10 o'clock in the morning. I can drag those two to 9:45 up till 10:15, 15 minutes before and after. and focus on that particular case there that was raised by our help desk. Great question, though.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Sorry, one more question. So
That's all good.
I see Steve has one device on the network,
Yeah,
and that's his IP address over there on the left.
that's right.
I think more than the norm is that people are bringing more and more devices into the network. So what happens? Do I have to go looking for Steve's other devices?
That's a great question, Benny. Absolutely. No, you don't have to. If you're searching for user 360, so let's pick another user, for example, in here, I'll pick on, let's say, Grace Smith, right? So Grace Smith is a user that has multiple devices. If you notice now, the difference is that we have multiple tabs under the user 360. And when we say 360 in DNA Center, the concept is focus on an entity. It can be a user, a device, even a access point, a switch, or an application, right? So when we say user 360, we can see all the devices this user have utilized on our network over the last 24 hours by default, but we can go and change that. So now I'm looking at Grace Smith iPad, but I can also go and click on the iPhone, for example, and it will bring information about iPhone and everything, her iPhone, and everything will be filtered, right? All the key performance indicator and metrics you see on the bottom will be concentrated on that particular device that we're looking at the moment. But great question. I can continue on looking at the PC and the Galaxy S10, but there's no need. This is the point that we can switch between different tabs on the same screen here.
Yeah, I also like the fact that I can see the health score right from here and kind of just focus right into the device that might have the lower health score to start troubleshooting. Thanks,
Yeah,
Zach.
excellent point. Absolutely. Thanks for the questions, Benny. Yeah, an excellent point. I can just focus on the iPad because it's the lowest health score.
Yep.
Absolutely. So with that, Benny, why don't we just switch gears and maybe you can show us some other ways that we can use advanced visibility into DNA Center.
Yeah, we'll do. All right, I'm going to throw caution to the wind here and give you a live demo. So, Zach, say a little prayer to the demo gods for me.
Let's do that. Fingers
So
crossed.
this should look pretty familiar for all of our customers that have been using Prime infrastructure for a long time. A lot of folks use this heat map tool to place APs and, like anything, garbage in, garbage out. So to get a good heat map placement, the more information you put into this, the better the outcome. What specifically I'd like to point out in 2.3.x of DNA Center, we actually introduced a 3D version of the heat map. I'm going to try and minimize my movement here so that I don't make anybody nauseous. I do that myself quite normally anyways. I guess you didn't pray hard enough. So let me go back into that floor map, into that 3D where I just was. Okay, so if I zoom in, you can see that the walls are rendered. You can see the health score of the access point. The main thing I want to focus on right now, I have a single floor in this model or in this heat map. If I had multiple floors, this would also show up. We've never been able to do that in the 2D version of this. And the benefit here is you can actually see the bleed through of the RF or the Wi-Fi from floor to floor, something you want to avoid. You really don't want a client on, say, floor 2 connecting to an AP on floor 3 or vice versa. So you want to optimize your design so that clients on a single floor connect to those same APs on that same floor. So let me just clear some of this so I get better screen. Right from here, I can click on to things like SNR, look at interference. I want to bring your attention to the scanner capability. And this actually will scan and give you an idea of what the RF or the signal strength looks like from a horizontal slice perspective. So I've defined the walls to be 10 feet here. And as it played through, it actually showed me what the signal strength looked like by the foot. If I jump into devices and clients, I can see that there are 5 APs in this space that I'm interested in. Planned APs gives you the opportunity to actually drop an AP and do what-if situations. What if I put an AP here? What will that AP, or how will that AP change the signal strength, and how the RF actually penetrates or travels through space in this particular spot that I dropped it in. There are no sensors right now in this space, and then there are 16 out of 55 clients that are connected. This Insights button actually shows the AI engine at work within DNA Center. This tells you which part of this particular space is not meeting your SLA. So I can click on view, and that takes me to an area that perhaps in the 2.4 gigahertz band, there's only 65% of the floor coverage with a neg 70, not the greatest signal strength. And then with the optimizer tool, it'll actually recommend moving the AP to a better place. So please explore that in your DNA center if you have that deployed. So that's a quick and dirty intro to the actual 3D map. Before I leave this, I just want to show how from here you can very conveniently hover over an AP and look at its neighbors, clients connected to it, what interference it is hearing, what radios are up or down, and also jump to the 360 device page that Zach mentioned earlier. All right, with that, I will now shift gears and drop into something called Trends and Insights. Another more data analytics and AI at work here. So what does Trends and Insights give me? I've always had the question posed to me by customers where they say, I want to get better visibility into my Wi-Fi. Well, when you dig a little deeper, it's actually what they're asking is, I don't know how to budget for next year because I don't know where I need to beef up my access points or my Wi-Fi in my 30, 50, 100 plus locations. Well, I think this is very helpful in that goal. So right on this particular line here where it says radio throughput, 5 gigahertz at the 5 gigahertz frequency, you can see that there is a deviation in radio throughput. So that might be an indicator that you might want to look deeper into that. I want to focus on this first one here. And the beauty of this graph is that it actually tells me that there is a deviation of client count over the last 4 weeks for this particular AP. If you're wondering what these globes represent, each one represents an access point, and the size of the globe or the sphere here shows how many clients are actually connected to it. So over time, you can look at these reports and glean that, hey, on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock every month, there may be a town hall meeting at this particular location. So there is trending there that tells me I might want to invest more and beef up the Wi-Fi in that space because that space initially wasn't meant to be a town hall meeting area. So now I need to redesign it to accommodate the new use case. I'm now going to move on to the network heat map. The network heat map also tells me how many users there are per day, either on an average or a max. I can look at all 3 bands or focus on a particular band. I know that I have a mix of 5 gigahertz and 2.4 in this particular space. And as important as it tells you how many users, in this case 50, connected to this specific AP, way more than I would recommend, I would also like to see which APs are underutilized. So these underutilized APs could be mistakenly deployed or installed in a closet where nobody goes into. So, that might be a good opportunity to repurpose those access points. I can export this so that I can send this hard data up to management when I'm trying to go fight for budget. I can also change location so that I can decide where should I be spending my money and focusing on upgrading the RF or the Wi-Fi in that particular location. Look at different APs, focus on why specific APs and where they are for the ones that are oversubscribed. So, and also, this is not just a single KPI. I have it on client count, but I can also focus on all these other KPIs that are available to me.
So Benny, real quick on that's great that we have so many key performance indicators to choose from. But in your opinion, in your experience, what are some of the ones that are super important here?
Yeah, so thank you. So for me, I like to look at channel utilization. So with channel utilization, it tells me either that space is oversubscribed with a lot of client devices, or in fact, there are other factors basically using up my airtime and ultimately affecting user experience. So if airtime channel utilization is over 35 or 40%, that's going to be my high watermark for me to start looking and digging deeper into that space or that particular AP. So for example, the one here, I see a lot of red at very high watermark. So I would actually focus on why this AP is experiencing such high channel utilization. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. The last thing I'd like to bring your attention to is something called network comparison. I actually have a customer in Newark that have two buildings that are exactly the same design. So they have used this particular tool to compare exactly how each building is doing from an RF perspective. In this case, it's throughput or signal strength perspective. I can click on any particular day and do a comparison. In fact, instead of, we all work from home now, so the engineer actually did not have a good idea of which building was being occupied first. So with this tool, they could look into which building was being occupied, or more and more people were actually traveling into to work there. So with this, he could actually see that one building was in fact more utilized than the other. And that was a nice report that he could give to upper management so that they can see some of their return on investment of actually renovating those buildings.
Benny, real quick question, just so I understand correctly. So this different colors, each color represents a different building, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. So as you can see, this is SF015, which is the name of the building. This is SJC01. So the three buckets are lower radio throughput, medium, or high, and then the comparisons between the two. So out of 100 APs here, 47% of the 100 APs are at these values compared to this other building over here. But I happen to be I happen to have selected these two buildings, but yeah. So just pick any two buildings that you might be interested in comparing, and you're off to the races.
Got it. Thank you, Benny. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So this was my last piece I wanted to demonstrate. So Zach, why don't you take us home?
Yeah, thanks, Benny. So over the last half an hour or so with Benny, we illustrated how we can use DNA Center to check on our readiness to adopt Wi-Fi 6E, check on our infrastructure capabilities, not just our infrastructure and access point, but also the clients, and further gain visibility into our clients as well. Then Benny took us through some RF visualization with his RF glasses there, 3D. And last but not least, he did some network insight and heat map comparison. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Dan for the conclusion of this episode.
All right. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Benny. Great job. And just looking at the Slido here quick, it looks like we have all the questions addressed. So thank you to everyone for the great questions. There were a lot of great questions, including our first question from a cat. And also thank you to the cat's owner for translating that, since we don't speak cat. So appreciate that. And so great session and great questions. Thank you everyone for their time. Before we close out, I would just like to ask attendees to complete the survey. There's a survey that pops up in the Slido. If you could complete that, give us feedback on the session and any other thoughts for future sessions, that would be much appreciated. And again, a quick reminder, this is going to be posted and shared out on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to go back, or if you'd like to look at future content, you can go out to youtube.com/@getunplugged. Click subscribe. You'll be notified when we go live. You can also go to cs.co/@getunplugged to look at and register for upcoming sessions via WebEx. So and if you have any other questions that you think episode, you can always reach out to us here at the Wireless Center of Excellence through your local Cisco account team. They know how to get a hold of us. So thank you for another great episode. And until next time, stay connected and unplugged.